For more on Adrian Gonzalez joining the Mets, we're now joined by John Harper, baseball columnist for the New York Daily News. And Harp, how did this deal come together between the first baseman and the Mets?
Well, they've been talking about it really since Gonzalez was released, after he was traded to the Braves and released. It's kind of a no-lose move for the Mets because they're going to have to pay him a minimum salary. He still owed $22 million next year. So it remains to be seen. Obviously, what he has left and how much he'll end up playing at first base. Dom Smith, how much Dom Smith is in the picture. Is he just insurance, or are they looking at him as a guy that can really be the everyday guy, and maybe they're going to either look into trading Dom Smith, or maybe they just think he's not ready. But he's a guy that, over the years, we know he's been an all-star in the past. He's had some serious back problems, so that's really the question. How much does he have left?
Well, you mentioned a five-time All-Star and All-Star as recently as 2015, but certainly the production has declined due to that back injury. So we know about the production on the field. How about off the field in the clubhouse? What's his reputation like around baseball in that perspective?
Yeah, it hasn't been great there. He had, especially in Boston, he had some real issues, and he's kind of but he's gained a reputation as kind of a bit of a clubhouse lawyer. And, the older you get, the more that hurts your reputation as your production goes down. So it's, especially with considering the Mets had their own issues in the clubhouse last year, especially with some guys coming out at least anonymously taking shots at Terry Collins. You wonder if he would be a good fit. I think they might be better off just trying to go with Dom Smith. And you got insurance with Jay Bruce now. That's why I'm a little bit surprised here. I thought Jay Bruce was giving the insurance at first base. But I guess they look at this as something that's worth trying because it's not going to cost them anything.
Well, as you mentioned, the natural follow-up here is, what does this mean now for Dom Smith? In your gut, do you think this now makes Dom Smith a trading chip, or can he still go down to Port St. Lucie and win the job at first?
I still think they're going to bring him to camp. I don't think his value right now is all that high where you could maybe get as much as they think he could be worth. I think he'll get a chance to come to camp, and he's going to have to. Yeah, obviously he's going to have a really good camp because that's why they're bringing Gonzalez in. If he doesn't look good, they'll play him at the very least. So it puts a lot of pressure on him in spring training, coming off of what he hit 190 something in the big leagues. Although he did show some power, a lot of scouts still think the guy can be a really good major league hitter. I think they need to take a long look at him and give him every chance in spring training.
All right, John, let's switch gears to the Yankees now, and you and I are going to have to find something else to talk about because Gerrit Cole is not coming to the Yankees. The Pirates finally trade him, but it's to the Astros. It seems, word around baseball, is that the prospects that the Astros gave up were not as good as the prospects that the Yankees might have offered. What happened here for Pittsburgh sending him to Houston and not the Yankees?
Yeah, it's an underwhelming package that they end up getting. The Pirates get for Cole from the Astros. None of their top prospects. The highest ranked prospect is like number 9 on their list that they got. That kid Moran, the third baseman. And it sounds like though the Yankees might have Cashman might not have been as willing to put some of the names out there that we thought. Some of the stuff coming out of the Pittsburgh side tonight indicates that yes, but we know Clint Frazier. He was willing to give him up, but it sounds like he wasn't willing to include Chance Adams, in a package, or any guy. They specifically wanted Andujar. Cashman wasn't willing to give him up, or Sheffield, or even the kid Florial. And I think some of this is because I'm hearing tonight that I think the Yankees and Cashman think they have a chance to get Yu Darvish at a kind of I don't know if you call it a bargain price, but a more reasonable price than what he's asking for. That report we heard about 7 years, $160 million. Yankees say absolutely not. They say they seem to think. Sources are telling me they seem to think they could get him maybe a 5-year deal, maybe under $20 million a year, which would make him much more attractive. But then the problem, of course, is they still have to get under the luxury tax. They would have to trade somebody. Ellsbury's the obvious guy. If you can't trade him, it might have to be Robertson, which I think would be a mistake.
Well, I think the interesting thing here, when we've been talking all winter long about the Yankees' need for pitching, everyone seems to say, well, they're not desperate, they're not desperate. So they let Cole walk. But with Darvish, that's a little bit different because he's a free agent. How desperate are they now so that they don't ramp up to maybe that 6th or 7th year that you've been saying they don't want to give?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they go there. But you know what? If they can find a way to trade Ellsbury, they might say, what the heck, let's go. We'll go the extra year. Because they're only really worried about getting under the luxury tax this winter, for this next year, which would reset their tax rate and allow them to spend more above the luxury tax and not be penalized as much for it. So, yeah, if they find a way to make a deal for Ellsbury, and don't forget he's got a no trade clause, and maybe they would extend for Darvish. I don't think Cashman's desperate, though. I think he feels good about this rotation that he has, but I think he feels like he needs depth, and he feels like probably he really would like to add a top of the rotation starter if you're going to win a championship. You know, talking about you get to October. So I think that's what he's really looking at here with this opportunity with Darvish.
Great stuff, Harp. John, thanks for joining us to wrap up a busy Saturday around the world of Major League Baseball.
Okay, thanks, Eamon.